Hey everybody, Travis Brodeen here. I've been working with the bluShift team for quite a while now, and it's really one of the most impressive teams in the early stage business that I've ever worked with. Really excited to see their progress so far, as I know you all have been as well. And shout out to all of the investors out there, very engaged community, and the support has been really tremendous. And it's that feedback and conversations you've had with us. We did launch that new Discord for anybody out there who's not part of it yet. It's been going like gangbusters. So want to get you all on that after this as well, if you haven't taken the leap. We did have a big turnout for the registration, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for Sasha to give us a quick recap on a high level what bluShift is all about for some of the newcomers here for their first time experiencing and learning about the company. And with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Sasha to give us that quick kind of high level presentation, and then we're going to move into some awesome updates with the company. How's it going today, Sasha? Oh, you are muted right now.
Unmuting helps. Very good. Thank you, Travis. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity. It feels like it's been a long while. A lot of things have been happening. And so I'm very excited to be able to talk with folks and our investors again. So let me see if I can share my screen here. All right. So Seth, I'll just need your ability to share the screen. But we have been very busy for the last several weeks. And since our last update, which is now, gosh, it's well over a month ago. All right. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. We good to go?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. So this is just a quick recap for, I know a lot of you guys have seen this before or seen the elements of this before, but we felt like it was valuable to do a recap of what is we're up to. So fundamentally, bluShift is disrupting the new space industry. It is broken. Space launch today is frankly environmentally filthy. And bluShift is that eco-friendly solution to small satellite launch in a world that's really dominated by large polluting rockets today. So there has got to be a better way. So this is how we're going to change the world. We launch small payloads into suborbital and orbital space. We use a bio-derived, non-toxic, near carbon neutral, environmentally friendly fuel. And we reuse 70% of our rockets. We are uniquely positioned to launch into polar orbit, needed by the majority of tiny satellites. And we believe this is the way, and this is the future. So practically every rocket company out there is causing damage to our planet. Our core mission, as I think most of you know, is to change this paradigm. bluShift's rocket fuel will be nearly carbon neutral. Being Earth-friendly is one of the most important things that businesses, and especially aerospace businesses, need to do to protect the future of our planet for all of us. So let me show you how big the small satellite launch business is. The small satellite launch business market is absolutely booming, and we have all these different segments you see here that are growing. We have the rapidly growing commercial market, the civil with universities and organizations like NASA, MIT, and the Applied Physics Lab, and there's even military applications. But right now, small sat customers regularly are suffering through an average of 9 months of delay beyond their promised dates of launch. That's 9 months beyond when they were told they were going to be launching. So our aim is to be that small, agile solution, exactly what the market is looking for. So our industry research showed that there are underserviced needs and massive opportunities in the suborbital and orbital launch markets. Now, just quickly rewind, suborbital, means taking a payload or a cargo to space and bringing it back down again. Orbital means putting tiny satellites, in our case, that stay up in low Earth orbit. And our strategy is to take advantage of both of these market opportunities to get to revenue generation faster and maximize our revenue opportunities. And one of the more valuable components we bring to the table is the rare polar orbit access. Based upon a recent study that was commissioned by the Maine Technology Institute and the Maine Space Grant Consortium, Maine actually uniquely has the opportunity to service half of the growing nanosatellite or tiny satellite market that prefers launching into a polar orbit. Half of them want to take that orbit. And bluShift will be the first to take advantage of this enormous geographic opportunity. This is really a huge strategic advantage for us. So our breakthrough happened when we secured the grant from NASA to develop the engine and combine it with our proprietary biofuel. And this research and development is what gave us the modular engine advantage for our success. We will be using this engine design and manufacturing to keep our costs low, agile, and scalable for all of our rockets. What makes us different isn't just that we provide a more sustainable way of taking cargo to space, but that our agility, our engine tech, and our launch site will make manufacturing, logistics, launch, and even the insurance costs lower than the competition. So our core differentiators are: one, we have a low-cost, greener Marvel engine, rocket engine technology. Two, our key access to polar orbit, which no one on the eastern seaboard of the US provides today. And three, agility and lower overall cost of operations. We already had a history making huge success on our first prototype launch in early 2021. And I know a lot of you watched this, and probably some of you even were watching it in person. And now we are tuning and optimizing our full-size Marvel engine. By the end of next year, we will have successfully launched suborbitally to space with paying customers. And within 3 years, we'll enter the $28 billion market for launching nanosatellites to orbit. So the cool thing of building a rocket company is when you're building a rocket company, it attracts world-class talent. And I'm extremely proud of the capability and the absolute dedication, which I see day, night, and weekends, of the folks on our team. We've assembled an advanced team of experts uniquely qualified and work together in our environment for rocket and engine development. The team members include folks who've been part of rocket design teams, engineers with extensive instrumentation and testing, engineers who were key in the development of both SpaceX Marlin engine and the Rocket Lab Rutherford engine, and advanced manufacturing and CNC experts both on the metallic and composite work side. It's with this team that we have working together that we're building the new, greener space launch. So here are our next steps. We started with MTI and NASA grants and knocked them out. And of course, that's really been huge for us. We completed our historic launch and raised our first round successfully, and we're looking forward to next year. Next year is when we'll be completing our another round of funding to achieve our next launch mission to support paying customers suborbitally. We'll be strengthening our ties with NASA, and we'll be moving on to our Series A round. And we will have established our place as a viable launch partner amongst the aerospace industry. So there you go. I'll send it back to you, Travis.
Thanks, Sasha. And thanks, everybody, just for that quick update. Hope that gets some clarity on the whole vision there. Really a huge future out there. Getting screen sharing access. We have a big surprise for everybody that jumped on here. And I would like to be able to play that here in 1 second. If Seth, you can pass that host, or Sasha can pass that host over to me, please. Great. Okay, I think this is going to work. Is not going to work for me today. We're going to jump in. I'll get that ready for maybe the wrap, but I've got too high of a resolution. The video is that good. Sorry, it ran on the other side. So let's jump into to some of the update stuff for everybody. Sasha, can you give everybody an update on the engine test, please?
Yeah. So the guys have been working extremely hard, and I said this before. They're working days and nights to get to this engine test. We were hoping to get it as early as October, and it's looking like more like early January is when it's going to hit. But I was actually considering having this go live with me out at the test site, but we were a little worried about the bandwidth issues. But the guys made tremendous strides forward. The test cell is almost complete. It's a very large construction of concrete, and there's a number of chambers where we're storing the oxidizer, the test equipment, and you guys might have seen posted some of the solar power equipment we use to power it all. It's really cool. And Seth will be DJing the live streaming event of our future engine test. So I've extended to folks in our potential launch site the invitation to come and view one of our engine tests, but also a number of investors are also once they've hit a certain level are welcome. They'll have VIP access to view one of our engine tests, and we'll have several over the next the whole winter. That's when we do things best.
Awesome. We've got a whole list here to punch through. You want to give an update on the fuel grain advancements that have been made?
Yeah, so this has been one of those other quiet things, and you guys see my face all the time, which is a real shame because Gerard and Alex and Luke have been working hard on literally spinning up the new fuel grain. This is actually been a difficult challenge because we, literally on Stardust we had 14 pounds of fuel, and now with a Stardust Rogue, our fuel core or fuel grain weighs north of 600 pounds. So spinning that up literally and getting it made was very difficult. These guys did a lot of engineering, and amazingly, we were able to spin up a fuel grain on the first try. That may not mean a lot to folks, but having done this many times and smaller versions, actually it was bigger and bigger over time for us, you always get it wrong the first time. And these guys it just speaks to the capability of our team.
Yeah,
so
with anything, I'm going to say with anything, scientific, your hypothesis, and then you learn a lot, right? And so it sounds to me that you're kind of perfecting the formula or getting really close to that in a sense of what to expect when you're going through those tests. Is that fair to say? Yeah,
really. It's really now it's the manufacturing side where we learned a lot from spinning up and it took about a week and a half. Where you think spinning up a next fuel grain and they're about to start another one is going to take far less. So it's really a fantastic learning opportunity. And we were so lucky that it worked the first time.
Awesome. Yeah.
Although luck may not have had a lot to do with it. I think skill. I'll credit the team.
Skill in the zone. That's fantastic. You've got an update on the timeline overall for 2020, the upcoming year.
Yep, things still look on schedule. We're looking for our Stardust Rogue beta launch in the end of Q3, Q4 timeframe. So far, things still look on schedule.
Okay, great. I don't know if everybody out there saw we were featured in that Forbes video. How cool was that? I know they came to the office, Sasha, and kind of had to keep it under wraps for a while. But maybe you can describe how that went and overall the experience with Forbes. It's a huge name out there recognizing bluShift.
Yeah, it was really neat to have such a large media outlet come by and interview us and see what we're up to, and to take a real earnest interest in the greening of many industries, but then importantly in this case the greening of the aerospace industry. So it was a real compliment to have them here. They're incredible professionals, and of course I'm completely biased, but I love their video as well. So check it out if you haven't already.
Now, rumor has it there is potentially, I might say larger, but maybe that might not be fair. Another organization heading out there pretty soon.
Yes, there's a 3-letter media outlet that everybody doesn't really narrow it down, does it? That everybody will recognize, and they are waiting for that first engine test to come by and wrap up the interviews, and we're really looking forward to that one too. So stand by on that one.
That'd be great. I'd love to see you also secure some type of TV interview on top of that. I think that's the future I hope for you. Now you've got some new hires also coming on board.
Yeah, so we've hired many different new folks. A gentleman just joined us from Boeing, moved from Pennsylvania. Incredible aviation tech guy. It's really helping us go next level in terms of how we do our wiring. We have folks that are joining the engineering team. There's folks that are helping us wrapping up building the test stand as fast as possible. I was doing a count of how many folks we have on our team now. And at one point in time, I was sort of focused on part of the company or another, maybe the big picture. And this is actually a little bit under count because some folks are some really key people that are part of other companies that have been helping us. But the last count I took, we actually have 18 people regularly involved with what we're doing here. This is like up from 3 or 4 people just a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So it's amazing to have so many talented individuals helping us out. And again, I think we're fortunate that we're doing something that's so cool in such a cool new way, a greener way, that we've been really fortunate to attract really talented folks. So I'm super happy. It's going to be crazy to see what happens next year.
Absolutely. Yes, top talent brings in even more talent, and that success you've had so far, Sasha. So kudos to that and the great signals of building that team and everything you've done so far. Let's see here. I do have the surprise, I think, teed up. We're going to take one more shot at it here. Of course, we're doing it live, so it's always a little bit risky, but hopefully I can come through for you all here because this is really cool. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and try this one. Yeah, that should do it. Here it comes.
When I look up at the sky, I see so much potential. Tell me, when you saw Stardust launch, what did you see? Did you see all that possibility? Because I did. We must now begin to reach higher. Our last crowd equity funding campaign raised over $750,000. It confirmed we have the right team, the right methodology, and the right location to achieve our goals. And with every success comes more opportunity, more potential. Our next rocket, Starless Rogue, will reach space. We have the engine, we have the design. For this next stage, we will need to raise more. Now we have to finish the rocket and build the launch site. We will have the very first polar orbit launch site on the east coast of the United States. The success we've already had is just the beginning. What we work on today will improve the world of tomorrow. The possibilities are endless. Let's reach for the stars.
Wow. I mean, that's so, all right. That's so super cool, right, everybody? I think even the video talent that we have available is just incredible. And what an amazing story, what an amazing journey. And I believe we've captured the essence of bluShift in that presentation. So we'll be moving that video into the Wefunder page shortly, and hope you all did enjoy it as much as I did. That's a pretty fun video for you to make, huh, Sasha?
Yeah, that was the Knack Factory team has been really incredibly talented. It's been wonderful to work with them.
So we had one more update, and then we're going to segue into a little Q&A, it looks like. So for those of you, I see some hands being raised occasionally. We're coming around, and Sasha, you want to let the big reveal out of the bag?
Well, there's two updates. One is the launch site update. So some of the folks have probably heard in the news and also on the Discord server. We've been working with the folks of Jonesport Beals. So that has moved on to the new phase. There's a moratorium that's been put into place for basically no rocket launches until an ordinance has been created for the town. And we're in full support of that. I think it's the right thing to do for everybody, make sure we're operating, everybody's operating in a way that's known, understood, and respectful. So my understanding is the committee was just formed yesterday to begin doing the ordinance, and we're looking forward to that. I think the hard work is begin at the new year. So I think everybody's enjoying a Christmas. It's going to be looking forward to a Christmas and New Year's break, and then getting into the hard stuff. So looking forward to that. This is really one of many options we're actually pursuing to ensure that we launch one way or another next year, Stardust Rogue Beta. So
great. And
then the big reveal. This is really exciting, and I'm trying to figure out how not to be too nerdy about it. But I give, well, it's 100% engineering's credit. A lot goes to Luke, and actually one of our interns, Ben Lemieux, thanks to Luke's calculations and modeling, and it's being refined thanks to Ben Lemieux's use of genetic algorithms to further optimize. We actually got a much more optimized version determined for Red Dwarf based upon the work we've been doing so far for Stardust Rogue. Originally, well, the short of it is we were able to nearly half the number of Marvel engines required for Red Dwarf, reduce the stages down to 2 from 3, and triple our payload capacity and our revenue generation. So this was an amazing step forward for us. So I'm incredibly excited. This means we're actually working very hard. David Hayricken has been staying up till 2:30 at night, helping me out with some of the manufacturing modeling around this and what that means in terms of our costs and revenue side of things. So very excited. And then Richard Clark is going to be helping us up with, kind of revamping our business model based upon these new revelations. So this is huge. This is gigantic. When you can reduce essentially your cost down by half, but triple your revenue input side of things, that means good things. That means very good things. So we're very, very excited.
I'd love to hear that. It looks like the audience does as well. So what a massive breakthrough. And I remember when you called me and said that the team had this massive breakthrough and you wanted to validate it, and then you were able to prove it out, and wow, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So, well, that's kind of brings us through the general updates. Remind everybody, if you want to, we're going to go roll into a Q&A. If you want to participate in that, there is a opportunity to do so by asking your questions there, and we will try to moderate those as best as possible. I guess we're just going to ask them in the chat itself for now, and I'll try to handle those. If anybody has any core questions, we'll just take them as they come here. So, average cost of bluShift launch if I had a CubeSat spectral imaging payload.
Yeah, I mean, David, the best thing to do is reach out to Ben Farmer. So ben.farmer@bluShift Aerospace, BLU, shiftaerospace.com. And he can get you that information. And, it also depends on how many U's we're talking about and the weight. We're actually more weight limited, actually less than we used to be, as you just found out, and less space volume limited. Thank you, Ben, for putting it in there.
And Perry Ballard is asking about payload integration. Who's doing your payload integration? Looks like he's in the payload business, and
yeah, so that's a good point. We are open to working with payload brokers and integrators. Our current default plan is to do that ourselves, but whether it's like an organization like Tricept or Tyvek or others, I know there's a number of companies out there that are that sell the pieces of components and do some of the integrations now for their customers who are building CubeSats and suborbital research. Talk to us. Again, that's actually another, no, excuse me. This is apparently what happens when I drink too much coffee.
Too much coffee.
That's another reason to reach out to Ben Farmer too. If you are a payload broker or an integrator, we would like to talk to you.
Yeah, it looks like Ben's in the chat there, throwing out his email for anybody that's curious. So legal constraints. If you want to touch on any legal constraints as a rocket company with any company coming to market, you might be facing or any issues overall. But somebody's just asking that. Yeah,
I mean there are a whole host of them, right? But I mean, on an environmental level, there's an environmental impact study that has to be done and performed extensively. It's a very, very long and arduous process. But the biggest hurdle we have, and this is actually part of that, is getting licensed by the FAA, because we're not only getting licensed to launch our rocket, we're essentially getting an all-in-one license to launch and where we're launching from. So sort of a launch site. It's not actually a launch site license, but it's an all-in-one package. That is significant. And then the other aspects is also working with the U.S. Coast Guard very closely, which we've had numerous conversations. Just had one last week again with folks there. In fact, members of the U.S. Coast Guard will be attending some of our engine tests here shortly too. So there are many. And then, depending on what our payloads are doing, that opens up other doors in terms of if there's imaging satellites on board or imaging suborbital. There's needs to work with NOAA, and then of course the FCC for any wireless communication. So there's plenty on our docket.
Great. Looks like there's one other question so far. We don't have a whole list. Just curious if you're going to Small Sats conference in Logan, Utah. Any plans for any conference or any conferences coming up?
Sasha? I love that. I love that conference. My favorite conference. I guess the question to Perry. Perry, do you know is that going to be live this year or is it virtual again? I'll let Perry answer. See if he knows. But I think
in person.
Yes. Okay, that's great. All right. By then we'll be from Omicron to ZebraCon or something by then. But I think that's a great point, and I think that is probably the most appropriate conference we could go to. Ben, you and I should definitely. Perry, thank you for bringing it up. I think it's now high time that we have a booth.
Pretty soon you can just rock it over there, Sasha.
Right. Exactly. Thank you, Jennifer.
A little humor there.
Yeah.
What potential opportunities exist for local aerospace enthusiasts to volunteer or otherwise get involved with bluShift? Do you have anything like that, Sasha?
Yeah, when we launched Stardust up in Loring at the former Air Force Base and up in northern Maine, volunteers helped us out with during launch day, helping to secure the area and ensure folks are safely away from the safety zone. That's always really helpful, and helping to shuffle traffic in the right location. Again, when we launched up from Loring, we had 100 cars come up, that was the depths of winter and the most northern part of Maine. I'm looking back because my other wall I have a map, so that would be a great way to help out. We'd also appreciate just getting the word out, pushing the word out. Another way, if you're involved, if you have kids in school or you are a kid in school, no matter where you are, talk to your local Space Grant Consortium. There are now possibilities for students to launch payloads with us, younger students, through using MaxIQ technology. But there's funding out there from your local Space Consortium. And I know that if you're in the state of Maine, there's an effort afoot to get perhaps millions of dollars for students in every town with the ability to launch payloads into space and do basic science research. It's really, really cool. But that's hardly limited to just to the state of Maine.
That's really cool. Wish I had an opportunity to come intern over there, volunteer, definitely. Okay, yeah, we got a few more questions coming in here from the side stream. Actually, I got here in the main chat from Jamie Newth. In regards to the polar launch site, Sasha, what type of atmospheric monitoring systems or service do you have in place, or is that an issue for you? And how relevant is that?
Yeah, that is definitely an issue for us. One of the things we learned from Stardust was it's really important to work with an actual meteorologist. It turns out the weather on your phone is not. There's nothing like a real human capability. So we are going to be contracting a meteorologist to help us out. Now, Jamie, if you have knowledge on folks that can get up into the jet stream area and get wind speeds up there, that's really important for us, as you know. It's actually one of the reasons why we find it generally difficult to launch normally in Maine during the wintertime, because the jet stream is generally a lot faster. And having our rocket spend time fighting that nasty river of jet stream air is no fun. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to, actually, I'll have you, you can text message me right here in SmallSat, but we welcome suggestions for services that might do that outside of NOAA and meteorologists.
All right. Thanks, Sasha. And these are going to just be kind of all over the place, but I've got 6 questions from one individual. I'm going to pick a couple from Roger Austin here. Roger's asking, heaviest payload a bluShift rocket might eventually carry. What's the long-term vision of how big you see this, what payloads you see carrying?
I think we're looking up to 100 kilograms now.
Wow. And then let's see what else. Farthest into space bluShift rocket could go eventually. He's kind of thinking longer term, right? What's the end game, or the further down the road? How big do you want to be, Sasha?
Check out the Discord server. Late at night, I reveal a little too many details. But look at the server, and if you hunt through it, you'll find some of the more aspirational plans for bluShift. The original aspirational plans.
I might have missed that, but I'm imagining space station and your own floating.
I think it's more aspirational than even that. So
wow,
it's the original plan for bluShift, and it's actually part of our name.
Beautiful.
Our name of our rockets. It relates all back to that. Yeah.
Do you ever see an evolution of the rockets being able to land sort of with their own fuel and kind of with that model?
Yeah, David, our CTO, David Hayrick, and I have been toying around with a bunch of different ideas, and trying not to reveal anything. And we're talking with another company here locally about ways of getting our rocket and rocket stages back to home or somewhere close to home safely. I think right now it's unlikely we'll do anything half as sexy as what SpaceX does. We're trying to go for high on simplicity, low energetic requirements, so we can reduce the weight on our rocket. So yes, we are looking for something that will get it back to home safer, faster, and require less manual labor to do so. Sorry, that's a bit vague, but that's
about right. It's about right. We got Bailey here. Says they're only 90 kilograms and happy they can be launched into space as well. So just a little sidebar there. I thought that was kind of funny.
Cool.
Let's see. Any universities in Maine that are doing CubeSats that you'd be willing to share? Some curiosity there potentially about working with them.
Yes, in fact, the University of Maine just got a grant, actually not just, it was a year or two ago now, from NASA to develop a CubeSat. They are going ahead with that. We probably won't be able to launch their first one by the time they're ready. They'll probably be ready a year or two before we are. But the University of Maine up in Orono and the University of Southern Maine are both there. I've been in conversations with 2 professors from each of those divisions of the University of Maine to launch not only orbitally, but suborbitally with Stardust Rogue, and perhaps with Stardust Rogue Beta, launch their science up into space. So we're very excited because really I've seen over the last 3 to 5 years a real evolution in the University of Maine system, an interest in taking on the aerospace sciences and doing real space research. I give the Maine Space Grant Consortium a lot of credit for kind of moving the ball forward on that and encouraging the development of this within our educational sector here in this state. So it's really exciting. Neither one of these professors have gotten their grants approved yet. It's in the upcoming weeks, I think, actually very soon. And we look forward to potentially having them on as paying customers in the next year or two.
Thanks, Sasha. I've got a question from Bob Reichman in regards to STEM opportunities with Maine school children. And if there were any, are you planning to or doing anything currently with that initiative and an opportunity to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so again, there is a very big effort afoot to get funding that's actually coming from the federal government to provide financial resources to provide a curriculum, MaxIQ devices that allow kids to do these it's out in the hallway, but these sort of plug and play science blocks that allow students to do like 80 different sensors and experiments, collect data, devise their own experiments. And the idea is that the funding can go out to school districts all across the state. So if you stay tuned, I know that we will definitely promote once that grant gets approved. I'm sorry, the grant and the funding gets approved, we will be promoting the heck out of it. It's really important for us, if nothing else, at the purely selfish standpoint, that these are future employees that we want to be able to hire.
And I think that, I mean, that answers the question, Sasha, as far as the initiative, but also an opportunity to talk a little bit about the MaxIQ relationship itself. And you know, how you brought that to the table and what they see, right? There's a big partnership here.
Yeah, MaxIQ has been, they reached out to us, gosh, just a week or two after our initial launch, seeing a real opportunity and a synergy between our small launch capability and desire to bring space science education to kids across the planet. And it's a company that's now based out of Virginia, and they originally developed this technology for students in South Africa to inexpensively do science of all types. And anyways, we signed a contract with them several months ago now, an ongoing launch contract. It was their first one to launch suborbitally and then later orbitally up to 60 student payloads all the way to space per year. We're really excited about it. It won't be actually taking up a lot of volume because their experiments are very thin and very compact, but it's a fantastic way for kids to get inherently energized about doing science, doing STEM. You know, there's nothing like this, devising your own science experiment, but devising it for space. For me, there's nothing more exciting than that. Of course, I'm super biased on that, but it's really cool what they're doing. They make it really low cost. Now, through a relationship with us, school systems across the country, across the world, can buy the kits and a launch through MaxIQ directly as a really cost-effective package.
Great. I think that's one of the coolest things, that bringing the science back to the children. It seems to be, you know, a lot of people are talking about that here in the chat as well.
I'm smiling because I see Jack, Jack.ni. Jack, you are very much in the right category of things that we fantastically would like to achieve someday. So yeah.
Jack, you should be in the Discord.
Yeah, maybe he already is.
Okay, if I hadn't seen you there, but yeah, that's the perfect mindset for a lot of the conversations that are going on there.
Seth, if you have an opportunity to pop in the link to how to hop on to the Discord server, probably it's worthwhile to get folks in there.
Yes, Seth did post it earlier, but perhaps he can repost it.
Oh, he did? Okay, great.
Anybody else with any other questions? Kind of the sidebar has run dry a bit, so if there's any other questions coming in, now's your chance. I do want to take a minute while we're kind of in a lull here. Remind everybody, there are 20 of the pins, the bluShift pins available remaining. And these pins flew into orbit, and a very limited exclusive, item. And if you do end up investing, I believe the amount is $2,500, you will receive this pin. And they make great Christmas gifts, right? How often do you get to give a gift of something that's actually rode on the first rocket at bluShift? But that needs to get in by, as I understand, the end of Sunday, if you'd like to receive that before Christmas time. And if you want one just for yourself as well, makes a good gift for yourself. So let's see. Marine
Dennis
logistics.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
About having a team do a marketing team come in and do a case study on us. I'm not 100% sure what you mean. I mean, I get the idea of case study and different marketing team, but I'm open to suggestions and thoughts. So this sounds like a creative idea on there. So I'm more than open to ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and put my email on there, Dennis. I'll send it to you, which I think I'm pretty almost 1,000% sure you have it, but here you go. Probably no doubt that you have it. So hopefully it gave to you. So feel free to email me directly to kind of talk about that. And then Ralph had asked, did you see the earlier question that Ralph had?
Yeah, I have it here. I have it here. He's specifically asking you marine logistics portion for access to and from the island. he has some thoughts on it, but he also wants to set up a meeting and have a chat with you on it. So I guess the root question is, how far along are you? And you did talk about the multiple locations already, but if you want to give them a quick update on that.
Yeah, which part of the launch logistics or sort of recovery is a recovery question?
How far along are you in the marine logistics portion for access to and from the island you're looking at? So bringing the stuff over and launching and what's going to take to do the logistics of that. That's what I'm understanding.
Gotcha. Yep, it's like we hit it right. Yeah, so we're it all kind of depends where we ultimately launch from. I mean, Jonesport Beals area is where we have our eyes focused on right now. So once I think we have a solid commitment or agreed upon ordinance that works for everybody, we will basically be doing sort of an RFP for folks in the area, because I think I don't think we're going to be buying our own boats to bring things out to the island and do recovery. So I anticipate we'll be hiring 4 to 8 boats to help us on every launch day. So we're also working on this may seem unrelated, but we're also working on an animation that really demonstrate to folks the sort of the concept of operations for how we're doing launch in terms of, because I think it's really novel. I mean, Stardust was probably one of the first rockets recovered by snowmobile, very Maine. And I'm fairly certain we will be one of the first companies to be recovered by, a fishing boat or a lobster boat, let alone possibly doing the same to be brought out to the island in the first place for launch. But we're doing an animation to give folks a really good sense of what we're doing. And so my hope is that we're able to work with folks in the community that we launch from to hire them and contract them on a regular basis to help us out with marine operations.
Awesome. We have Dennis Carter here. He says that Siemens, which is a pretty large company, Siemens wants to hear what you're doing and that they can do a showcase on a startup package.
Yeah, so Siemens is, we use Siemens software behind the scenes. We use NX, and they have an incredible suite of products that allow us to go do what we want to do today and go right up through Red Dwarf and beyond. So it's very exciting. And Dennis, absolutely, totally, awesomely welcome to Siemens doing a case study on us and what we're doing. We love you guys' software, so thank you.
You saw it right here live, folks. Let's see here. One more question. Circular orbits or eccentric orbits or both, Sasha?
Potentially both. Potentially both. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And I see Susan asked about interest in Cutler. Cutler was my first love. I really wish the antennas weren't, or that area was not a naval station active, but it is active. So, our senators have worked with us to find out that is off the table. It doesn't mean necessarily that Cutler in general is off the table. A lot depends. We actually have an inquiry with our one of our senators to contact the Navy to find out how far they really would like us to be away from their active station, because we want to respect that. So Cutler may not be entirely out of the picture, but it's looking pretty likely that it is.
Great. Well, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Feels like a really good place to kind of wind down, Sasha, unless there's anything else you want to kind of throw in there for everybody. I know, we've been hard at work at the kind of wrapping up the funding round. We did open it back up for a few other investors. It's currently open if you were not aware. I think just under 200,000 remaining, and then we're moving into the next phase. So we'd love to get that done before the end of the year. And if there's anybody else out there that should be part of bluShift that you personally know, speaking to the audience, please bring them in, introduce them, show them some of the cool things we're up to. Be really appreciated.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Travis, once again for hosting, and thank you all for attending. We're really looking forward to the much desired full-size engine test. It's sort of unfair that all the work the guys are doing behind the scenes is not getting attention. But once we get to the engine test, I think it's going to be really phenomenal to see what they're working on. Not that things will go perfectly for the first couple of tests, but I think it's going to be really fun to watch. So stay tuned. Seth will be live in that, and I think Travis, you'll be helping out as well.
Absolutely.
And counterparts, definitely thought about that a lot, Jack.
There you go, Jack. I think we'll wrap it up there, Sasha. Remind everybody this will be available on the recording up on the Wefunder site shortly, so keep an eye on that, and we'll be posting it. And I wanted to personally thank you all for attending and being part of the bluShift family.
Thank you guys very much. Have a great afternoon or evening or morning.
Take care, everybody.